We are live.
We're on. This is it.
Oh,
I didn't even see the intro to the show. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to another edition of Cigars and More Live, Behind the Curtain. With me, as always, is Devin, Brackett, and John Vivani.
Way over here.
Not Vivani. He prefers not to be seen. We're joined today. I don't know who this guy is. He's speaking Spanish. I can't understand what he's saying. Baxter, help me. I don't speak Spanish. English, please. What's he? Sir.
El nombre?
Is there?
You
look familiar.
Es Oscar.
We've got Oscar Rodriguez with us, Dr. Oscar Rodriguez with us in the studio today. Glad to have you, my friend.
The honor's mine, gentlemen. The honor's mine.
He is certainly no stranger to our stores. Our customers are big fans of his cigars, as well as we are. And we're with you today because we have the special distinction of being the very first place to debut the GTO La Cura. Which means the cure, for those of you at home who are checking in at home. I just learned that this week.
Yeah.
See, I've been brushing up on my Spanish for this.
Excellent.
And I know you're impressed with that.
I love these because he's got like the painkiller and anesthesia.
It's almost like he's in healthcare profession, right?
What?
It's almost like he's a real doctor.
We have an RX pack too, don't we?
We do.
Sold at all,
every Cigars and More location. If you haven't tried a GTO cigar, in some parts of the country you may not recognize the brand. It's pretty much the Southeast, right? But I'm sure you have accounts don't you have some like even in New York State? Like you've got some other places.
We actually got we got like 5 stores in New York. We're working on New Jersey. We have Pennsylvania, Rolling Stogie. We have Virginia, the Burning Leaf. A little bit of Idaho, Iowa.
I remember when you first started and seeing you in Montgomery all the time at Havana Dreaming, and it was funny. The way I remembered you were an absolutely terrible domino player, and so it was. I felt sad for you, so I struck up a conversation with you one day. I was like, "Who's this guy? He's not very good, and no one's paying any attention to him. He's just sitting in the corner by himself because he kept losing, right?" So I felt bad, and so out of the goodness of my heart, I walked over and approached you just to see if I could encourage you, and it's been a great friendship ever since.
I learned that when you meet new people, you let them win so they think they got something, and then you drop it on, domino, pow, they'll be like, ¿Qué pasó? They speak Spanish when you slam that domino.
And that's what it just mind blown. Like I didn't know what was happening, and he sucked me right in.
That's Mr. Oscar. You remember the first time I met you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the Trussville store.
Yes, sir.
I thought he was just a random customer just picking up boxes and messing with them. And then he goes, "Go tell Duck that I'm here." "Who's here?" "Oscar's here." I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "That's the guy who owns GTO." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, here we go."
No, it's been. I've really enjoyed getting to know you through the years, and had a lot of fun. It's been great seeing your brand grow. You worked tremendously hard doing that. But tell us a little bit, before we get into this brand new blend, tell our listeners who might not be familiar with the product, how did this begin? I know your family in the Dominican, but tell our people that don't know you how you got this harebrained idea to start selling cigars on top of providing top-notch healthcare.
Yeah. I was born in it, and watching my cousins, watching my grandfather, watching my dad, watching everybody. I started smoking when we were 12. A lot of us, that was the rule in the house. So it's a constant thing. We smoke a lot, we talk a lot, and my grandfather was very particular about how he trained each one of us individually to succeed in the business. Each one of us, he gave us a task. Right? So there was those that he taught about the farming, the process of fermentation, the process of aging, the process of rolling. So some of my cousins are rollers, some of them are finishers, some of them are the ones in charge of the harvesting. Now all of those have engineering degrees actually in agronomy. So they're not just, they run the mill cats. They studied, and some of them have even been to King's Ranch to do their masters in the field. We've been making cigars for a lot of other people all of our lives. We've been growing tobacco for over 100 years in the same valley. We're in the Valle del Cibao, which is actually the most coveted region in the world to grow tobacco. And people always tell me, like, "Oh, is that Cuban seed?" And I laugh because to us, the ignorance is like really crazy. But I always have to tell people, cigars were actually rolled from the production started when Columbus came to the island. He found the people smoking, the Indians. We were producing cigars in Hispaniola, the island that encompasses Dominican and Haiti. Most of your production was between the 1500s and all the way up to the late 1700s. All came out of Hispaniola.
Wow.
It was not till the war, the French and Spanish War, that people that had businesses had to leave, and many of the people that had businesses and money, to avoid getting their businesses burned down, they left. And that's when Cuba actually got people that came there. We took the seed from Dominican to Cuba. So if you talk to old, real Cuban people, not fake people like all the people that, the seed is Dominican first, and it grew. We grew it in Cuba.
Wow.
We looked for that region, and actually the only part of Cuba that's actually that fertile for tobacco production is actually on its western tip, Pinal del Rio. And we actually have land there. So we took the seed there, we developed it there, we kept on working on both islands. So it never stopped in Dominican. So they're not like a better roller or nothing. It's just, it's a tradition, it's a passion, it's a way of life. So we moved over there, half of us stayed back on the island. So things just kept on rolling. We never had a distinction. It tasted pretty much the same because it was the same tobacco, same seed. Yeah. Where it's different is when those families were forced to leave Cuba, and then so some families sought refuge in Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, as they left and took their seed to those new islands, those new lands. The different composure of the soil is different, so that produces the same seed will render a more volatile or a more combustive or more flavorful or more stronger tobacco, The Nicaraguan tobacco, per se, as I smoke it, I find it to be stronger. It's definitely, any leaf, pound for pound, has way more nicotine than the Dominican, which is more polished. So, in my opinion, and it's my opinion alone, being a Dominican, because that's where I was born, and I was born and raised on Dominican tobacco, I never do smoke any other tobacco from any other island. I'm not interested in it. I don't really care for it. The Dominican, though, is definitely by far the most superior, in my opinion, and it's the smoothest. It's the smoothest, cleanest. You get the most flavor, and to me, I tell a lot of guys that smoke, because this is like something of tradition, and as you smoke more and more and more, just like the guy that, in my opinion, I tell a lot of people, when I introduced you to taco, when we were first introduced to tacos, you were given a fresco. If you guys remember way back in the day, the first tacos you ever tasted didn't have a lot of sauce on it. It was So when you ate it, you were like, "Oh, how beautiful!" The tomatoes, the cilantro. I can actually taste the lettuce, if it's crisp or not. He goes, but then somebody said, "Hey, you can put hot sauce on it or mild sauce." And I said, "Let's put some mild sauce on it." So then the people go, "Oh, the mild sauce triggers endorphin release, and that makes you happy that you're eating it, but you really don't care what the lettuce tastes like, or the tomato, or the cilantro. All of a sudden, it's just this flavor bomb of pepper." And you're like, "Wow, I need more of that because I like how this makes me feel." Yeah. So I tell people all the time, you need to control that. But humans,
cigars are the same way, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah. You just keep on excelling. You don't stop, and then that's why humans. I would say more. You see this trend more so in America, where we have really we really don't have a lot of control. We're the people that we want it now. I want a big TV. I'm gonna go get it. The European model. These people can actually smoke the same Connecticut all their life and not want. They don't want nothing else.
That's why you see more box sales in Europe than you do singles all the time. Because there's something special about purchasing a box of cigars. The presentation of opening the box. That's a special occasion. And like you said, they have their go-to cigars. They're not always wanting something new, something now. So they're completely content buying that same box of cigars and having the pageantry of the experience of having it presented and opening it up, a fresh box. It's very special. And I think we lose that. I think you're 100% right. I think too often a lot of our mutual friends, they like cigars that they really can't taste what they're smoking because it's just a pepper bomb. Yeah. It's just peppery and full throttle strength. And we are seeing a trend like that in the U.S. And my palate has changed. You know, you as a doctor know our body chemistry changes, every 7 years? Is that correct?
It's about.
And so my palate, since I've been smoking cigars, has vastly changed. I mean, I was smoking super strong cigars all the time, and now, you know, I used to make fun of Oscar a lot. I'd tease him because I'd say, Oscar, he makes cigars, but he would smoke his own Connecticut cigar, and he would start sweating. And he'll tell you, he doesn't. He's saying that, you know, he's not crazy about just spice bomb, peppery, super strong cigars. We would share cigars, and he would say, "Now listen, is this full? You know, like, be careful. Like, how strong is this?" And sometimes I'd mess with it, like, "Oh no, bro, it's mild," and just to watch him sweat. But my palate's really probably more in tune with yours now than it was before, because I like just it's about the flavor. I don't want something. I hate the way I feel after just smoking something that's overwhelmingly strong and peppery. It just ruins my palate.
Exactly. No, that's definitely it. I told cats, people that are trying to identify the flavor notes in tobacco, I always tell them the pepper note that you taste, not the spice, but the pepper. That pepper note is directly proportional to the amount of nicotine that you're ingesting, because you're swallowing it. Yeah. It goes into your stomach. The highest cause of reflux. You know, so I tell a lot of guys, "Oh, why do I cough a lot?" You know, and I tell them it's reflux esophagitis. It's the smoke entering the top of the esophagus, and you're not putting it into your lungs directly, like, you know, getting that nicotine delivered, but you will get a little bit of acidy response. So, you know, I told just take 2 omeprazoles or 1 for a while, but then cut back on the nicotine. You know, like, don't do bombs. Go light, do Connecticut for a while, and then, you know, if you train your palate, you can go a long way. A lot of guys that stay to the, let's call it the right, or the left, or whatever angle you want to take. If you smoke too intense, I had one guy laughing at me. I went to Florida, and he laughed. He says, I said, "So what do you smoke?" And I said, "I smoke Connecticut in the morning. First cigar of the day should be a Connecticut." Your palate isn't ready
100% agree
to take something that's totally, you know, crazy like that. You start with a Connecticut, you warm the palate, you know, be nice to your machine, your body. Mm-hmm. So you give it a nice Connecticut. It could be of different complexity. Start with a Connecticut. I tend to do the Connecticut's up until 12 o'clock. So when it's noon, I open up to Corojo, a beautifully shade grown.
Absolutely.
Whether it be Habano, the mutated form, or the original Corojo, which the Eiroas have, and also us. We're one of the old families that have kept the original seed. We never mutated it. So it's beautiful hickory, caramel, and spice notes.
Yeah.
So
definitely my favorite.
And definitely one for me. In the afternoon, I'm actually smoking a Corojo at this point. Once I see the sun start going down, that's when I really, really want to smoke a Maduro, because my palate is already developed. And now I can taste the cayenne. I can taste the coffee, the earth, the cocoa notes, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, you know. This is totally, it's an art form, and it's a coalition of many celebrations, you know. And when we lose the respect for that, then you're really not doing the art. You know, you seem to have a problem.
I agree.
And I tell guys, you need to slow down. When I see that, I tell them, slow down, because here's the bad thing. And as a physician, I tell them, I cannot treat this. So if you're a bomb smoker, if you have to have rockets all the time, I will see you in 4 or 5 years. One, when I issue you your oxygen tank for you to wear forever on your back when you have COPD. Or number 2, when you can taste no longer. And I appreciate when you get to that point that you surrender your collection, because I will take it. You know, but I tell people all the time, I say, guys, slow down, because you're going to lose your ability to taste. The inability to taste is called anosmia, and it's something very prevalent. A lot of guys will get there. Sometimes you don't start noticing that the food that you used to don't taste the same. Yeah. And that's totally reflective of the type of cigars that you're smoking. So I tell people, slow it down, you know, respect the ceremony, the lighting.
That's a great way to put it. Respect the ceremony.
Yes,
I like that.
Respect, you know, do your warming, your touching, after your selection, which is a beautiful thing, to select the cigar, the vehicle to your passion is beautiful. Once you have that, you sit down, toast.
Yes.
Let that wrapper singe with the binder. That, you know, don't just.
I told a young man yesterday, he's brand new to this. He's been coming in. It's been a lot of fun to watch him develop his palate. And I said, give me the cigar for a moment. And I started toasting it. And he said, what are you doing? He says, taking one. I said, I like to tell people, if you don't have time to light it the right way, you don't have time to be smoking a cigar.
Exactly.
Because it's all about time. This is all about time. And it took so much time for it to get from seed to here.
Yes.
So how dare we rush the process when we get it? And to me, it's beyond me how this product that took so much time and so much care before it gets in our hands, and we do it the whole process such a disservice by trying to rush it in the final stage of enjoyment, and the most fun, beautiful stage where you get to enjoy the literal fruit of the labor, and we rush it.
Yes,
you're 100% right. I had no idea we were going to get a history lesson, and he also gave our listeners a prescription.
He did.
So that's a beautiful way to start this.
Well, and I give you my pet peeve, the worst one. I tell everybody, the cigar is an instrument. It's a beautiful thing because it actually regulates. It tells you when it wants to be touched and when it wants to be smoked. You know, the head, if it's wet, if the head is wet, do not put it in your mouth. For that reason, they created these little things on your ashtray called cigar rest, and what it does is it shows you how to pace yourself. So you take your draw, you know, take your 2 or 3 draws, taste your smoke, but put it down or let it rest in your hand, and the head should dry. You shouldn't be putting a wet cigar back in your mouth. That means you're going too fast. You're delivering a lot more nicotine that way. So slow it down. If the head is wet, let it put it back down. Keep on talking or keep on thinking. You know, just watching the phantasmal shapes of the smoke just rising. You know, the perfect burn, just aligning your thoughts, and it's just great, man. It's just a beautiful thing. The thought process that just goes on. Then when you see it dry, go for your puff. You know, and just like Jason said, my favorite thing to do to keep the cigar clean, I always, when I'm about to begin to smoke again, I always blow once through, and that's a nice way of keeping it fresh.
Absolutely.
You burn all the tar that collects. It's one of the natural things that occur in a cigar, and depending on your cut, it'll build up around those little edges. I'm a puncher, so it'll definitely go around that little circle. So if you purge, you blow through one time, it'll push the tar that way, and it actually takes the flame, the burning sensation, that burning pilot on the foot. It should be conical, facing out, not facing in, because if it's burning inward, you're getting the heat, and that's going to heat up your smoke. So keep it. If you blow through, you actually make the fire go that way.
Yeah, just like that.
You know, and that show. When I see that in other people's cigars, I said, this guy knows what he's doing. And then take your 3 draws and let that little smoke just.
It's so clean. After you purge, the very next draw, it's exceptionally clean.
Beautiful. Chew on that.
I love telling this story about my friend Dwight Rickard in Florence, Alabama. We were sitting around the cigar lounge that we opened up in 2008. It's no longer there, but we were sitting around the back table, and Dwight's a big hulk of a guy, and big thick fingers, big hands, and he'd hold his cigar and he'd point at you with the other 3 fingers when he wanted to tell you something, just like that. And it was very intimidating. It's like, whoa, back off with that point there. But he saw me one day, what I thought was purging, right? And I said, I'm like blowing through the cigar and fighting it. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm purging my cigar. And he goes, no, you're not. And I said, well, I like to believe I know what I'm doing, of course. He goes, do me a favor. Put the flame in front of it when you blow out through it and watch what happens. Mm-hmm. And he saw that flame going out, and I'm like, what difference is this going to make? You know, this crazy guy. And I took a draw after, and I was like, oh my God. It tasted like the first draw I had in the cigar. It was so clean. Right. So I learned that, and it's funny how 99% of people who smoke cigars don't do that or know to do it or have ever tried it. And it changes everything. And you're right. You won't get the tar buildup that some people get. And I just find it amusing. Like now when I see people who have that tar buildup on the end of the cigar, I'm like, let me share a little wisdom with you that I learned from my friend Dwight one day. So it's and that's part of the camaraderie of cigars too. You know, you're sitting around. It's a constant learning process. We're never not learning.
Definitely.
The day we quit learning is the day we've stopped living. So
it's amazing. Yeah, I do want to say, so what was my role in all of this? Like when I was a kid, I would run through the farm, and I was always kind of like a little prissy. I like wearing clean clothes, and if you run through tobacco fields, and you're gonna come back all tarry, you know, and then that's gonna get your mama's. I used to come home, my mother would see me, she would get a switch and beat the snot out of me. So I said, okay, no more of this. And I told my grandfather, I do not want to run. I'm not hanging out on the tobacco field. So he's like, okay, he goes, I'm going to teach you to blend. You know, so I was like, oh, that's something different. I said, I could stay inside. And I thought that was really good. So it took, almost 38 years of what I've been doing to learn how to make cigars. Tasting the tobacco raw, just grabbing a leaf, rolling it in your hand, what we call a perrito, smoking that, and then, you know, putting things together, and then definitely knowing what doesn't go together, you know, because I find like in a lot of cigars today, a lot of companies want to use the names, you know, those top, I'm using this leaf, that leaf, but some leaves counteract with each other and just destroy what it was really meant to do, you know, and so it's I just like blending, and I've done a lot of cigars. All of my cigars I've blended all of mine, you know, just putting them together. I've used some of my grandfather's blends and my dad's, but we used to make about 18 different brands, and that's what I just knew, that we made those brands, and it was easy. I didn't have to worry about doing shows. I didn't have to worry about talking to people. We just did our jobs, and the companies did the rest. 11 years ago, because I travel a lot with the Air Force and the Department of Justice, I was going to shops, and I just, you know, a lot of people didn't know that we were the ones who make that cigar. You know, like they didn't know who we were, but they just know the parent company or the company that sells it. So I was like, and I found that some companies just charge way too much for some products.
Sure.
So I just decided I'm going to launch my selection of what we make, what I like. I'll put it out there, and I'm going to sell it at a nice price, because I'm actually a guy. It doesn't matter how much, what position I have. I support the little guy. I believe everybody should have access to this beautiful thing. It's such a great,
absolutely,
you know, the celebrations, and I wanted everybody to get it. So all of our tobaccos that we grow are premium. They're top of the notch from the best part of the country. We select. We have a high way of rating. Well, we rate our tobaccos from A through D, D being the worst, not the worst, it's just not useful for making cigars, and we send that to be for we chop that up and sell it to pipe makers, pipe tobacco people. The B and C go to market. The A, we call it A prime, we keep that, we age that, and then after aging process, we have different aging levels. We have 3, 4, 5, 8, and 10. Now, we don't go past 10 in our factory, because we just found that aging it, up to even 15 years, we found no notable change. So there was no need to go any further.
Sure. Spending
the money on air conditioning and all the work that we have to do to keep that tobacco fresh and vibrant. Yeah. So we said at 10 we stopped, but it's already the most compelling tobacco that I know. So that's how, and you know, people were asking me, when I remember 11 years ago when they opened Havana Dreaming in Montgomery, right off the base where I work, the guys were like, man, since your family's been doing this, why don't you give us 2 blends that we could sell, you know, at a nice price? And I said, sure, I'll give you a Maduro and a Coro. And we started from there, and I didn't even have a name. It was just a house blend. And then I said, you know, so at that time I had 3 GTOs. So I was like, I had a 65, a 71, and I have a 94 that I bought in Osaka, an original 3000 VR4. So I was like, you know, I like that GTO thing, and it sounds like, you know, great tobacco from Oscar. So
that's amazing.
I ran with that. So you know, the GTO is a legendary classic, and I feel like our tobaccos they're legendary. They're just nice. You know?
They're incredible. I don't want to put it down. I'm going to have to in a moment, because I want to light up what I want to talk about next.
Definitely.
I'm smoking the Don Emilio, which you haven't had an opportunity. What an amazing cigar! And this is this is a super premium cigar.
Are they one on Monday?
It is, but it's not a super premium price. No. It's $10, and you don't find super premium cigars at that price. And so what he just said about he wants to give everyone access to enjoy some fine cigars, it's truly reflected in this product for sure, in all of your product. But as I'm smoking this, it's very prevalent to me. This is such an outstanding cigar. I hate to lay it down and let it rest, but I'm gonna go ahead and fire up this Lacura because many of you tuned in today to find out what. And I am too. I'm glad you're here because I'm gonna let him talk about it. We're gonna light it up. Do you need to borrow one of these back that you gave me? No, you got your own.
Yeah.
Which format should I smoke? I've got a Perfecto here, which I love this size, but then I've got Robusto. Both of them have pigtail caps on them, which I think adds to the artistry. I absolutely love that cap on a cigar. I'm gonna do the Robusto first. That's the one you're smoking. I'll smoke the same. Are you smoking one right now?
Are you smoking one?
John Vivani, are you smoking the Lacura right now?
Yes, I am, in the Robusto.
Okay, so in solidarity, we'll all like the same thing. Now, you've had, watching from the genesis of your company, and I was there pretty much from the beginning, arguing with you about box designs and everything else. I mean, we had some great conversations about it.
I'll put it right here so everybody knows. Listen, everything I know about what we do on the road.
He's so full of it.
I learned it from him because I used to watch this guy. This dude is the best in the flipping business, man. I don't care what anybody says. I watched him, everything he did, and I was impressed with him. And let me tell you, if I could have hired him, if I made that money to make this for him, he would have been my guy. But other companies snatched him up, and But I was
and now I'm indebted to Harris Saunders the rest of my life. So I'll be here at Cigars and More for. Harris jokes all the time that it's a 10-year contract is what he said. He says it, and so.
But this industry is very noble. It's a very noble industry.
It really is.
It's a brotherhood of great guys, from all walks of life. The high respect that we have for each other, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you do. We all honor each other with an excellent smoke and spending time, and we listen to each other. I love this, because I'm a people person. I hold a lot of positions in my life, being in charge of ER, doing trauma. I command a lot of people, but I could tell you this: I am the most bottom level person. I love being with guys that are in the trenches. That's me. My favorite people of all walks, fine, but I just love hanging out with people and helping them out, listening to their whatever they need, and if I can help them, that's what I do. It's always about doing the most good for everybody. That's what we all need to dedicate our lives to doing. Not trying to make money or hustling other people out of their bread, is helping them out. And that's why if you could be anywhere. I could be on a beach. I could be in the farthest place. And if any guy, I don't care how he's dressed, what he looks like, if he looks at me and tells me, "Do you have an extra cigar, or can I always furnish." And I'm giving a guy. I wouldn't give him a $10 bill, but I'll give him a $10 cigar.
Yeah.
I said, "Sit down, let's talk," and we kick it. And it's a beautiful thing. I just love it. This is God is amazing. Thank you, God.
Yes, He is.
Yeah. I'm cured.
You're cured.
I'm cured. This is amazing.
I'm hearing you making noises and grunting as soon as you light it. Like you're enjoying this from the start.
Oh my gosh, the first burn of it just.
Well, tell us you've had it's been interesting from the start, and to see your brand develop and your blends develop. You have made some things for the market that are a little stronger than your liking, but they're still not strong, like overly strong, overly peppery cigars at all. They're still properly blended, where they're full bodied. A lot of people don't understand that doesn't necessarily mean nicotine bombs.
Right.
It's full flavored. It's got body in the smoke and extreme flavor, but not necessarily overwhelming in nicotine. You've done a very good job of that. But tell us now, because this is the first time anyone's ever smoked these at a retail store. Probably not really. I mean, you might have snuck some test blends somewhere, but this is the debut. This is the debut half wheel. Even mentioned it the other day. This is Scott Northcutt is lighting it up. They have them at our stores. He's delivered them to our other stores. Want to let you know too, before we hear about the cigar, Oscar. This is his pre-release of this cigar. We're going to have to limit it to 3 cigars per customer. per day because we don't have many. We have 4 boxes at each location. That's all we have. And after this, it's not going to be available till after July. So we're going to limit it to 3 per people because people watching this are going to want to try it. So please respect that, if you will, when you go into our stores. But Oscar, tell us what's different about La Cura as opposed to your other blends. What are people going to see differently in this?
Wow. So La Cura embodies like. So in our lines of distribution, we have 3 cigars where we utilize our 10-year aged tobacco. We have the Corona 10-year, which is available in Connecticut, Corojo Maduro, which is one of my grandfather's blends, a cigar that he used to make back in Cuba in 1942. He also was one of the founders of the Partagas Lusitania. So that's the same blend we put in the gold. So people that like a good quality Connecticut, that's nice medium plus, that's an excellent Connecticut.
It truly is.
It really is.
The Painkiller was the one that I created. I did the Hypnotic. I like to have something for everybody. Like I want people to come to us and enjoy us and find a little bit of everything. If you're if you're a novice, I created the Hypnotic so that you get long leaf filler, mild, but it has a sweet tip to help you understand the smoke that you're tasting. And then, and normally if you're smoking one of those, by the end of the cigar, the last third, the sweet tip has already totally dissolved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like I take the training wheels off, and you're actually smoking a Connecticut, which is a mild.
I vividly remember when you made the Hypnotic.
Yes, I did.
I tell you what,
I vividly remember this. He knows why I'm laughing about this.
Yes.
It was very funny. I was working for another brand at the time that we won't mention, and we had just developed the newest sweet cap cigar, and Oscar kept poking around, asking questions about like, oh, what is that, and then I swear the next week I go to a store and I see that and he's just got this, eating grin on his face, like the whole time he's just like, I knew he was cooking something up.
I took the band off and I said, try the cigar. When he smoked it, he goes, can we curse on this?
You go ahead.
This is what he said. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, but this is Dominican. And then he's like, oh, okay. It was like,
so would you say Jason's reaction was like, this is bullshit?
Yeah, no, he didn't like it at all. I was like, oh my God.
And there's a reason he's saying that because you see on the screen, that'll be this week's segment of That's BS.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
I'm glad the turd is closer to his head this time though, because
I can move it.
He was the turd in this situation. He was. Want to say hello to D-Lynn. Hi, thanks for joining us. Eric with Poker Face Cigars, thanks for being here. Trevor, glad to know that you saved one of his special edition cigars for the road. And as always, Scott, thanks for being here. Let us know how you're thinking. He's smoking it right now, the La Cura.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're thinking about that as you smoke it. I used to tell people when I handed them a new cigar, I said, listen, if you like it, man, tell everybody. If you don't, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
It's just be quiet.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And I tell you, when I'm have new people come in, they're like, I've never smoked before. What do I recommend? I am not even joking. I go to the Hypnotic and I go, the simplest way I put it is, it's like smoking Hawaiian bread.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Love it. And I'm telling you, I've had more repeat people because like, you're right. This Hypnotic was amazing. Was there something else like that? And I go, you want a cigar that tastes like a $40 cigar? The Anesthesia right here.
There you go.
That's GTO is the one I point to for everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Would you say this is your strongest blend today?
This is actually, this is the first time I actually, here, I've really never used the combination. I tell everybody, I don't really care. I actually used the Ligero and 2 Viso and Tubado. And the rest, I can't tell you what it is because it's proprietary.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of companies that love to I find them all the time. And a lot of these guys will actually, and no shit, they'll come to the factory, like if we don't even know who they are, they think that we don't know. And I'm looking right at the guy. I'm watching him on the camera. It's like, what's he doing? Get him out.
Wow.
Because it's espionage.
See, he's learned to keep things a secret so other people won't copy them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like it's smart. It's
Yes,
smart.
but it's all Dominican. We do not sell the components that whatever components we use in our cigars, they are not available for purchase.
Okay.
I do not sell to other companies. We do sell a lot of tobacco, but I don't sell the ones that go into our cigars, just to keep it a little bit different. That we are Dominican, a 100% puro, which is really nice to say that every single one, except the gold, because we use American, USA, Connecticut on our wrappers. But the fill-in blender do come from our farm. Everything else it's a puro for the price, unheard of, and it's unreal. A lot of guys can't get past the name, like I get it. Like some people don't want to drive a Genesis, even though it's a great car. And I told them, hey, that's okay. You could spend $40 if you want, but you could spend $10, and why not buy 3 or 4 of these and enjoy? Sure. Because you're going to get a beautiful smoke, a beautiful session, a wonderful journey. A lot of smoke, a lot of phantasmal shapes, great flavor. The best thing of all, when you use premium tobacco, and this is something I want you guys to learn, is that premium tobacco leaves no aftertaste. And that's why cigars like the high end, I won't mention names, that you pay a little bit more for, like those, they clean. You can wake up the next day. You don't have to rub your tongue with you don't have to, you won't have dragon breath. Your wife is going to love you. She's like, what? And these, if you could smoke 4 or 5 of these. And
he's telling you, if you smoke GTO cigars, your wife will love you.
Yeah, but hell
that's what he's saying.
Because you won't stink.
Let's just get it.
The clean tobacco smells good.
It does.
And the bad tobacco pisses me off because they're giving us a bad name. Because everybody says, oh, cigar, bad. Smell bad. I'm like, no, that's beautiful. It's flavor. Smell that. That's beautiful. But then I'll smell that. I go, coño, I know what that is. I could almost pick them out when I smell them in the air.
I'm enjoying this a lot, and I would not BS you on air. I would always tell you the truth, regardless. It would just be unfortunate if I didn't like it. I'd have to. But this is a tremendous cigar. It's very full, but it's not. It doesn't feel like I know it's full. The body is very full. I do feel like it's probably the strongest cigar I've ever smoked from you.
Definitely, it definitely is. This is where I stop. I don't go any further.
Yeah, I've noticed you also stopped like your cigar went out because I've started to see sweat. If you can't see, if it's not in high definition,
I'm going to go sweat.
So he truly is smoking slow. Scott Northcutt wants to make sure that we all know that the head on his cigar right now is dry. He is not putting it back in his mouth when it's wet, like you said before.
Yeah.
So
that's good measure.
He's following advice.
I like that guy.
He's a great dude. I'm glad to know him. Glad to have him in my life. And it says amazing flavor. It really is amazing flavor. This is if you guys haven't tried this, and if you're a fan of the brand, if you've never tried the brand, you got to try it. Too often in life, people are very opinionated about their cigars.
What?
And we're just like we are anything else. And because it's a passion, and it's a hobby, people are fiercely loyal and have very equally fierce opinions about other products than the ones that they have. And so often, I get so mad when people say, "Oh, that cigar's crap," when they're talking about a brand they don't normally enjoy. And I'm like, no. It just might not be for your palate. Don't disrespect the fact that people put hard work into it, and so often, and I think that correlates to really the rhetoric that's going on in today's world outside of this. It's like, oh, well, that's not what I believe, so it's crap.
Yes. And
I think we need to do the same with cigars. We need to be a little bit more open-minded and learn to listen. And in this case, listen with your palate and not with your heart, not with your preconceived notions. About what you think a cigar might be. This cigar is incredible, and there are cigars that it does remind me of, but it's also unique, and I'm getting some tasting notes that are very interesting. I'm getting a little citrus in this, which I really enjoy. There are a lot of very dark, strong cigars. Sometimes I get a nice citrus note, which is interesting because it's not something I would expect in a cigar that looks like this. But it's a wonderful blend. I'm enjoying it. Can you tell us? You said. What's the wrapper that you did say you used on this?
This is actually a broadleaf that we grow.
It's the broadleaf, okay.
Broadleaf, all right.
Yeah, it's a very thick wrapper.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
This is going to be my go-to.
It's great.
Thank you.
And they're only $28, right?
No, not at all.
Okay, it was a joke.
The Robusto comes in at a beautiful weight of actually the Robusto is a 5x52. Pigtail with a closed foot, and I did that intentionally. Mm-hmm. It's a design technique. I believe, because I really enjoy the wrapper. So I wanted you to, when you first light it, to get the notes of the wrapper immediately. Let it come through the cigar so you can taste it. And that to me is it changes the experience.
It does.
I like that. And so I try to deliver that in this cigar. It's going to be a cigar that should be sold. It's going to be right under $7.99 for this Robusto for such a pleasurable journey.
Yeah.
And the Perfecto, which is actually what we call a Gran Perfecto, because around the heaviest part, just like my middle, it's a 60 ring gauge. So it's a 5 by 60, and it drops to 50 on the bottom end. So a beautiful Perfecto, Gran Perfecto, and it actually smokes a little different. The Vitola will change the flavor a little bit.
You can see there,
and that cigar will come in at under $10. So I hope you guys enjoy the sacrifice that we're making with the cost of everything today. Let me tell you, I started this company, this part, 11 years ago. We have not had one price increase since day one.
That's impressive.
I've been absorbing all the taxes. I'll be honest. People tell me, "Oh, you don't make money." I make money doing medicine. I don't make. This is not what I need to make money. I deliver experiences, and I want you to remember me by the experience you had smoking your cigar. That to me is the most important. I don't need your money to go buy a steak. I don't need your money to go stay in any place. I don't believe in none of that stuff. I'm happy under a tree if there's a breeze and I got a cigar, and if I got some rum,
cheers
with good friends, salud. That's the moment, salud, manito.
I'll tell you what. You know what that makes it? That makes it legendary.
Thank you, bro.
It does.
Oh, man, thank you.
It does. That's well put. This has been an experience.
It has.
And let me tell you, here's my thing. Like for a long time, because you're talking about people like sticking to one thing. I used to be a Fruit of the Loom guy. All my life.
Yeah.
If I told my wife, I need, because I don't do a lot of shopping. I don't believe in that. Because I know what I need. I said, wife, I said, I need underwear. And she would say, which one? I said, I said, Fruit of the Loom. I said, she's okay. And then one time, while I was deployed with the Air Force, I ran out of underwear, and I did not want to be commando. And a friend of mine lent me a pair. And I took his Hanes, and I said, oh my God, the waistband fits good, and it feels comfortable. So now I use different brands. So like I changed. I don't know if you can simulate.
I have no idea how this just got to Oscar's underwear. But
I don't know, it just changed.
I promise this is the first glass of rum that he's had.
Yeah.
He
hasn't even finished it.
This is just an authentic conversation.
Something like that.
I love it. This is very organic in how this happened. This wasn't.
I'm spontaneous but truthful.
Organic.
I love it. So you heard it here first. Not only are we the first to try La Cura, we are the first to have an expose on what type of underwear he wears.
Hashtag Oscar's underwear?
Yeah, I think that might trend.
And I think for the commercial, I think the La Cura, it's about time. We needed a cure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really wanted to release this. So I hope you guys enjoy what it delivers for you. It will have a different change. The release will have a different band. Everything was made, ladies and gentlemen. It was done. Boxes were ready to go, but because of this COVID in our country and across the nation, we had to delay everything. So we couldn't put everything together. So I had to quickly come up with this presentation to deliver this, because I really wanted to release it now. I feel like there's so much things going on, and what we all need right now is one damn good smoke.
That's it. That's
100% agree with that.
And we're having one right now. That's a fact. This is
La Cura.
It's going to be very hard for me not to smoke several of these and give people an opportunity to actually buy them. So this is we did have a hashtag TMI on that last bit that you had. So
I'll tell you what, whoever buys a box, I'll buy them a 6-pack of underwear.
How about that? Have you ever had that deal on a box of cigars? You buy a box of cigars, you get a 6-pack of underwear free.
There you go. I got you. Just tell me your brand.
My God, this is an idea. What an idea has been born here. If you can't use this, retailers, this is our idea here. Harris is going to love this, by the way. Why are we buying packs of underwear on the corporate company credit card? Don't worry about it, Harris. This is going to work. Buy a box, get a pack.
You would know about it if you watched the show.
So just tell us if you prefer briefs or boxers, and we'll make it happen.
Yes, sir.
You heard it here first. So,
and they won't be used. They won't be used.
They won't. Yeah, thank God for that.
Oh my gosh. This is the greatest.
Also said it was a great write-up on Half Wheel, and it was. Half Wheel is a great resource for industry news. They do a professional job. Charlie and the gang. I like to tease Charlie Minato about the way he describes cigars, and I got to know him a little bit better when I covered the Dallas market. He lives in Dallas. Really good dude. He does have interesting descriptions. If I were Charlie right now describing this cigar, I would probably say that I had notes of hibiscus, just a touch of sandalwood and unleavened bread, and perhaps maybe even pitted prunes.
Perhaps
Which some of you know the joke behind pitted prunes, but we won't get into it again. We spent half an episode early on.
Guys, don't hate that, because I hear that a lot from a lot of people. With the smelling and the tasting.
It's what it reminds us of. It's not what it literally tastes like, but often people do give him a hard time. But it's an experience for him when he's smoking a cigar.
Sure,
I like the way he enjoys the cigar because it's bringing back memories.
Definitely, and I'll throw this factoid. Taste is actually 80% smell.
Yes,
it's 80%. I heard some guys say 90, but it's not 90. It's 80. but it's what you smelled before, honestly. So
try tasting your food next time, holding your nose while you're doing it, and tell me that doesn't change the way you taste your food. Definitely. It's the same way with cigars. And it takes getting used to, but if you retrohale and breathe the smoke back through your nose, exhale it through your nose, it burns a little bit at first until you get used to it, but it opens up so much more flavor, having the smoke coming out that way too. So
do you guys get like a creaminess that just? No, I get like a creaminess.
In the underwear?
No.
Or in the cigar.
In the cigar.
So I didn't know if we were talking about underwear or cigars at this point.
I get a beautiful little creaminess.
I just breathed it out through my nose, and as soon as you said that, I was like, "Yep, just got that." And it's got a nice, clean pass through. I mean, it's nice.
To me, that the broadleaf delivers that. It'll always give you a touch of. If it's not too strong, you can actually taste what the tobacco leaf was intended.
It's a sticky cream. Yes, that's what I got when I just.
It's a beautiful
viscous.
Cream.
So
I love it.
I'm being bad right now.
Cafe.
I should stop.
Creamed pitted prune.
No, and I want to throw out there. I want to thank, because let me tell you, when I showed up, a lot of people, and that's okay. I understand a lot of people's apprehensions, but when I came to this store, when it was across the street, it was my first after Havana Dreaming, where we had a small, because everybody there is military, so they support me. But when I came up to Birmingham, the first person I came to was Harris, and I actually had a box, and whoever finds that picture that I put in my box, because I thought it was, why not put a picture of me, with a glass of wine. I said, people gonna buy this thing because I just look so good right there. And I'll give you a free cigar. You show me that damn picture. You show it to me, and I give you a free sticker. But he welcomed us in, which to me that's why I'm so honored to be here and have grown with the Saunders family. Because he's always giving me the room to do whatever I want. He's always asked me, come. I tell him I want to do this. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I appreciate him, his dad, his brother. And all the love, the staff, everybody's always helped me. I haven't had one problem. Everybody's always pushing, talking about me, helping me, and I love them. And God bless all of you.
And God bless you. This has been fun. It's been a true experience.
It's been wonderful.
Wow, it's already been. This is one of those quick weeks where it feels the time is just fun. It's already been 49 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap up soon. Want to remind you this week, we also have some great Father's Day specials at our stores.
Yeah.
Come in and take a look. Oscar, what kind of accessory do you normally prefer? Zycar, right?
Zycar's good.
Yeah, Zycar. So that's I'm guiding. I'm trying to push you.
Zycar
is great. So Zycar, we all use Zycar here.
Yeah.
We have great deals on Zycar this week. Zycar accessories are 25% off through Father's Day right now.
Wow.
Very aggressive deal. Zycar still has a lifetime warranty on their products, and that 25% off is also included on Stinky ashtrays. If you've never seen the Stinky brand of ashtray, probably my favorite ashtray on the market. They've become classic. I want to put a prayer out right now to for Gene Tipton as well, one of my former bosses in the industry. Gene is undergoing some health issues right now, and I want to let him know our prayers are with you. And Gene Tipton introduced me to Stinky himself one time.
Wow.
I didn't realize when he called him Stinky, I thought he was insulting the guy. I said, Gene, you got anything? He said, no, you idiot. He said, this is the guy. His name's Stinky. That's his name. That just is old Johnson City, Tennessee grandfatherly drawl. But I got to meet Stinky one day. So tremendous ashtrays. Joe, you're a crazy person, but thank you for joining us. If you don't taste pitted prunes in a cigar at some point in your life, you're not really living. That's what I say.
Yeah.
And there was a joke behind
Prune
that.
life.
I accidentally got a little too descriptive in my flavor, my tasting, and someone asked me how I knew the difference between a prune that was pitted and wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay, you got me there.
I like that.
So I'll never live that down, and I just might as well embrace it at this point. Well, man, we really do thank you guys for joining us this week. This has been a lot of fun. I can't believe the time has gone by this quickly.
I know, it's been fast.
Is there anything else you want to say before we go off the air?
I don't know. Only those who know smoke GTO.
That's a great thing. And what is it that you like to say?
Well, you know, to smoke is human, but to smoke a cigar is divine.
To smoke a GTO is divine, and we are having a divine intervention right now. I just want to say thank you for all of us here for joining us this week. We're having more and more fun each week that goes by, and this has been a great week. You need to come by our stores to try the GTO La Cura. What an amazing blend. I'm probably not going to leave this chair after we go off the air. I'm going to sit here and I want to continue this conversation.
I do too.
After this is over. We'll leave Instagram Live up so they can get a little behind the scenes action too. So if you want a little bonus content, jump back on Instagram with us. You can't see all three of us, but you can hear us talk, and you never know what you might hear. Thank you for joining us again this week. Oscar, thank you for being with us
Oscar.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for debuting this cigar this week. Come by and try GTO La Cura this week at Cigars and More. They're not going to last long. Limit 3 per customer. Each store only got 4 boxes. So hurry up. Get a chance to try this cigar. What a wonderful value. Immense flavor. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for joining us on yet another week of Cigars and More Live Behind the Curtain. See you next week.
See you later.